Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 PR disasters in British politics.
We agreed that we should go for a short drive to see if I could drive safely.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the funniest, most ridiculous scandals to ever reach Westminster. Let us know in the comments which one you won't be forgetting anytime soon. Number 10, The Mound.
It's a really important initiative to encourage people to come back into the centre of London.
In the summer of 2021, Westminster Council unveiled a truly atrocious tourist attraction to try and bring more people to London. That's in spite of the fact that London already had plenty of actual good things for people to see that aren't an artificial pile of mud. The Mound, which is shockingly its real name, was met with resounding disappointment, not only because it's an eyesore, because at the beginning the council planned to charge people £6.50 for the privilege of climbing to the top of it. Even worse, the thing cost around £6 million to build, a figure that the council sheepishly keeps increasing.
Something new, something interesting that people hadn't been able to do before, and this really fits the bill.
It's now London's biggest embarrassment. Number 9, Fields of Wheat.
What's the naughtiest thing you ever did?
Oh, goodness me.
Of all the things Theresa May did and said at the height of her political career, this will be the thing that follows her for the rest of her life. During a routine interview in the run-up to the 2017 snap election, May was asked what the naughtiest thing she's ever done was, to which she replied that it was running through fields of wheat as a child.
I have to confess, when me and my friends sort of used to run through the fields of wheat, the farmers weren't too pleased about that.
Fields of Wheat quickly became a meme, with people across the political spectrum full of second-hand embarrassments for the Prime Minister. Some years later, May revealed that of all the mistakes in her career, she believed the Fields of Wheat incident was the biggest. It's gonna haunt her forever.
Did you have any urge to jump out the car and run through any fields of wheat on the way here?
I'm far too responsible a citizen to run through a wheat field.
Number 8, the Prescott Punch. Labour's Deputy Prime Minister was out campaigning in real Wales back in 2001 when a dissatisfied member of the electorate decided to lob a few eggs at him. Though getting public abuse is a standard part of being a politician in the UK, maybe it was a bad day because Prescott retaliated by punching the egger in the face with a nasty left hook.
Other camera angles make it clear exactly what happened.
He definitely should have thought twice before egging a former boxer, and clearly didn't bargain on Prescott giving as good as he got. Prescott then became one of the few politicians whose career was able to recover after decking a member of the public, and has since been photographed wearing boxing gloves and holding a cream egg. Number 7, socially divisive. A constitutional monarch, the Queen isn't allowed to get involved in politics. She's not supposed to express opinions on the officials the public elects or their policies. But in 1986, some comments from the Queen were leaked to the press that appeared to show her disappointment with many of Margaret Thatcher's policies, still PM at the time. Today, people will be most familiar with this rift because it was depicted in The Crown Series 4.
Always a mistake to assume just because people are privileged, they lack grit.
It's not clear whether the Queen actually did say those things, but they were still widely reported and caused conflict between Buckingham Palace and Downing Street, all because the Queen may have said the same thing everybody else was saying. Number 6, Geronimo the alpaca.
I cannot consent to have a healthy animal euthanized.
The saga of Geronimo the alpaca reached a sad end in 2020 when the debate around whether Geronimo should be euthanized or not returned to the public eye once again. The issue is that Geronimo was likely infected with bovine tuberculosis, which could have spread to humans. But what prompted this renewed interest in Geronimo, we hear you ask?
You're not taking him off this farm.
Well, leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, decided to make his thoughts on Geronimo public, saying that putting Geronimo down was the best course of action. Managing TB outbreaks is obviously important, but Starmer spent the following weeks plagued by angry members of the public who wanted him to speak out in support of the doomed animal.
I'm absolutely disgusted by this government.
Number 5. Go home vans. Another inscrutable political decision from Theresa May. In 2013, she was the Home Secretary when David Cameron was still PM.
It's been described as gimmicky, divisive, disastrous, cheap, and a return to the 70s politics of the National Front.
One of her most ridiculous endeavours was the infamous Go Home vans, as they came to be known. May sent large vans ordering illegal immigrants to go home or face arrest around areas of the UK with high immigrant populations, apparently trying to scare them into getting themselves deported.
I think politicians should be willing to step up to the plate and say when they think something actually hasn't been as good an idea, and I think they were too blunt an instrument.
The vans were a political disaster for the Tories, sending a very unpleasant message to the UK's many immigrants. To make matters worse, 6 years later, the Tories determined that telling someone to go home was a hate crime, making themselves look like massive hypocrites and ridiculous all over again.
Will the Prime Minister now, on reflection, also take the opportunity to call out and condemn the racism of the Go Home vans that she created in coalition government with the Liberal Democrats?
Number 4. Ed Miliband sandwich. Politicians love a good photo op, but a bad photo can follow you forever. Ed Miliband found this out the hard way when he was snapped eating a bacon sandwich in 2014. They happened to catch him making a particularly funny face while he ate.
Open wide, Ed!
I think this is good PR for him, because although they actually say that people who eat messily are very good lovers.
Though anybody could have an equally embarrassing photo taken while you're tucking into a delicious bacon sarnie, Miliband has never been able to live it down. The meme followed Miliband for months while he campaigned for the 2015 general election, which he ultimately lost to David Cameron by some margin. He's repeatedly stated that he doesn't blame the sandwich, but many of his critics certainly did. Number 3. Barnard Castle.
We agreed that we should go for a short drive to see if I could drive safely.
By now, we all know that if you're in the UK and need an eye test in a pinch, you'd better head north and visit Barnard Castle, one of County Durham's premier tourist attractions. That's because in 2020, Chief Political Advisor Dominic Cummings took his family all the way up to Durham in a clear violation of lockdown rules. It was one rule for politicians and another for everybody else, something the public did not take kindly to. Cummings alleged that he went to Barnard Castle not for a recreational day out, but for an eye test, driving his kids there while wearing glasses that were the wrong prescription, a very safe thing to do. Ultimately, Cummings was forced to resign.
Dominic's eyesight was good enough. That was the whole point of the journey, to determine that he could drive safely.
Number 2. Bigoted woman. In 2010, Gordon Brown was the Prime Minister standing for election against Leader of the Opposition, David Cameron, who of course won.
How are you going to get us out of all this debt, Gordon?
Though Brown didn't poll particularly high during his tenure after Blair left, there was one specific incident that may have sealed his fate as the election's loser.
That was a disaster.
After talking to a disillusioned Labour voter, Gillian Duffy, Brown got back into his car and called her a bigoted woman, not realising his microphone was still on.
What did she say? Oh, everything. She's just a sort of bigoted woman. Said she used to be Labour. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The resulting scandal was nicknamed Bigotgate, with Brown forced to apologise to Duffy for his remarks. The incident has plagued Gordon Brown throughout the rest of his career. Number 1. Piggate. Who knew that an unauthorised biography with absolutely no sources would cause so much fuss? Nobody, it seems, because hashtag Piggate took the UK by storm when it emerged in 2015. An anecdote was published in the book Call Me Dave, claiming that when Cameron was a youth, he went through a dining society invitation rite involving a certain part of his anatomy and a dead pig. And that's all the detail we can go into.
And even that he took part in a bizarre initiation ceremony for a dining club involving a pig.
It was in the news for weeks, not in the least because 4 years earlier, Charlie Brooker wrote an infamous episode of Black Mirror that sees the Prime Minister have relations with a pig. Except Cameron didn't have the excuse of saving a princess. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.